This week on the Retirement Quick Tips podcast, I'm sharing with you my experience with my no spend October, or as I like to call it, my spend fast October, where I'm fasting from spending, not spending money as fast as I can. Okay, so today I'm talking about one of the most important takeaways that I learned from my no spend month, and that is making a list and then waiting some length of time before buying something. Now, because I wasn't spending money at all, anything that kind of popped in my head or I saw or like, I want to buy that, or maybe I need to buy that, I just don't need it right now, so it's not a necessity, I would just add it to a list and then reevaluate in November when my no spend month was over. Now, I do this using a list and some type of list. I have a couple different ones. One thing that I do all the time is I'll just add stuff to my cart on Amazon and just let it sit there. I have the Nordstrom app on my phone too, and I don't buy a ton of clothes, but like if I do buy clothes, oftentimes I'll shop there. There's like a couple different apps and websites, like shopping apps and websites like Amazon, Nordstrom, Athleta. I like Athleta, their workout clothes. So sometimes I'll just put stuff in the cart and then let it sit there. Because I realize if I really, really want it, I'll think about it again like a week later, a few days later, and it'll stick with me. If I don't really want it that much and I forget about it, that's a sign that I probably shouldn't buy it in the first place. So I've been doing that for a while, but I had to utilize the wish list quite a bit in the month of October because I couldn't buy anything that wasn't a necessity. So I've done this before. I do this anyways. I'll continue doing it. Spending less money. I mentioned this before in the week, but it really decreased my anxiety, increased my peace. It was noticeable. It was honestly, it was a noticeable difference because things were just simpler. I liked that whenever I came across something I wanted to buy, instead of going down a rabbit hole of like doing research, trying to decide like, do I really want this? Do I need it? I just put it on my list and then I'll come back to it in November. Now, what's funny is I mentioned Nordstrom. I think like a week in, I get an email or some notification, I forget where, but like I get this notice that something that I had previously had in my cart, but it was out of stock at Nordstrom. I get an email saying, this is back in stock. And it was something I really, really wanted to buy. And I totally would have bought it whenever I first bought it or wanted to buy it, but it was sold out. So I added it to my wish list. They sent me an email and I was like, dang it, there was like one or two left in my size. So I'll have to check in November, but it's probably gone. But you know what? Big deal. It doesn't really matter that much anyway. So I like the idea that I could just put something on a list, revisit it later. And my no spend month made me realize how much mental energy sometimes it takes a lot of mental energy. You have to like research something. It can be time consuming. You're reading reviews. Like, yeah, I get that not every purchase is like this, but a lot of things, clothing is a perfect example because I don't want to buy stuff that is made from like really cheap materials or things that I know is, it's going to fall apart in 6 months, or it's a sweater that's going to start like pilling and looking bad. I don't want to do that. So even buying just like a sweater, I still have to do some research because I want to look at what reviews say. I want to see what the materials are. I'm not just like buying now or adding to my cart and not doing that. So even small purchases, I realize how much energy it can take sometimes just to buy one thing. And so I didn't have to do any of that. And so if you are going to utilize, now whether or not you do a no spend month, I really highly recommend utilizing some type of wish list for this. So it's like the idea pops in your head, you see something, and there is a gap of time. Now, it doesn't have to be a whole month, but there is a gap of time from the point at which you have the desire, like I want this thing, to the point where you complete the purchase. Because a lot of times in that space, whether you wait a week or 2 weeks or a month like I did, in that space of time, you have time to reflect, and you might go back to that a week later and be like, you know what? I don't think I really want that anyways. And all you need for this is I recommend an app on your phone versus other methods, because what I do is when I'm out like shopping somewhere, whether it's the grocery store or wherever, I'll add things to that list. And then if I'm out, I can be like, oh yeah, we needed cleaner, or I need to buy bagels or whatever it is. I actually use Trello, Trello. There's lots of apps that are similar, but I have a board. It's basically like these little sections within the app. And I have one that's called shopping list in general. But then under that, I have these other boards. One's wish list, one's a grocery list. I have Christmas gift ideas, both stuff that I come across that I like, and then stuff also like when my kids hint at things that they might want. So if you don't already use something like this, I highly recommend it. I just put things on the list. So for the entire month of October, I added like 6 or 7 things to my wish list. I added new golf pants, another pair of leggings. I wanted some new reading glasses. I already have reading glasses, but I wanted a little bit higher quality because I can tell that like the cheap flat plastic frames they're probably not the best for my eyes. They add a little strain. So I also wanted a new frame. I have like a frame pictures of my kids in my kitchen, and I only have 3 of my kids, but I have 4 kids. So like my youngest, poor guy, it's like he doesn't exist, at least in the frames in my kitchen. So I wanted to get another frame so that he can be included as well. I came across this like really cool body fat measuring scale. So it's like a weight scale, but it measures all kinds of things beyond just your weight. I wanted some new pillows for our couch, and then I wanted a new watch. So what's powerful about this, other than having the ability I just add things to the list, no extra mental energy, no time spent towards any additional research. It's just like, I want a body fat measuring scale, and I'm going to figure that out later. But the interesting thing too is that like I maybe will only end up buying like half of the things that I put on the list. I'm definitely getting golf pants. I am buying those leggings. I'm buying that frame for my kitchen. I'll probably ask for the scale for a Christmas present and be like, Mom, I'd like to know how fat I really am and how these jeans that you gave me really work. Like how much body fat percentage do I have? So anyways, that's what I'll probably ask her for Christmas. And she'll be like, oh, okay, whatever. But the watch is an interesting one because I saw a beautiful watch that I absolutely loved. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, you know what? I have another watch, actually, that my mom also bought me many years ago. It's the only watch that I have that still works and has a battery, but I don't wear the watch that often. So I'm like, I don't know. I have to think about that for longer. I'll leave that on the wish list for longer. Decide, do I really want this? I don't know. Maybe not. So it will save you some money putting things on your wish list. And it is important, in my opinion, to have a space of time between when the desire to buy something pops into your head and when you execute the purchase, not wasting money on things to impulsively buy them. That's the goal. All right, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Ashley Michike, and this is the Retirement Quick Tips Podcast.